Good morning, everybody, and welcome to some Kentucky Derby preps for FBG. Sorry about the hat. It is freezing in this office, and I just don't care. It is too cold, and I ain't dealing with it. So that's just the way it's got to go for the old man. So let's share this screen and get to it. We got four Derby preps this weekend. Four. So let's go to the first one. It's the Withers at Aqueduct. It's a mile and an eighth. You would think that would be more key than it has been. The fact that, this early in the year, February 5th, these horses get to go a mile and an eighth. Um, but it really hasn't been that big of a deal. So who knows? So anyway, grittiness, I don't really like much. Seems just way too slow. Schoolyard Superman is one that really catches my eye. Why? Well, they thought a lot of him first time out. He clipped heels, went down. Second time, maybe the horse was still feeling some effects, doesn't want to sprint, got caught up in a fast pace, 45 and change from the inside. Maybe it wasn't his day. It happens. Then they sent him a mile, more to what I think he wants to do, and he absolutely airs them after the betters kind of gave up on him. So Chad puts him right into the withers, going a mile and an eighth. We get the spaghetti man. I think Franco is, if we put A, B, C, D, F next to riders, I'd give him a B. I mean, to me, he's not a difference maker, but he's not bad. So I think he's pretty good, and he rides at the upper echelon and wins races. I think this horse is going to sit maybe second or third, and then he's going to have to work out a trip. But from that inside post, he should be able to get one. Ottenho, the other Chad Brown that they made favorite, off a mile and an eighth, win by a head. Um, you know, I guess he could. Quality Roads going this far. I guess. I mean, I didn't like him last time, and he won, but he loses Pratt. I think is a big deal. Goes to Lascano, you go from an A rider to probably a B minus rider. Um, I don't like him. I mean, he could win, I guess, but I'm not looking for Quality Roads as we go forward into the Kentucky Derby. Practical Jokes, I don't really like that much. But he's still new and he's an into mischief son. So Star Sweeper, no. Malata, speed, probably going to stop. Talk to Jimmy, looks like a race filler to me. 4th and 1 also looks like a race filler to me. So when I look at this race, I'm staring at Pletcher's too slow. Which Chad Brown's going to win? I mean, that's just kind of now. How much do I like either one moving forward? We'll have to look at the numbers after the race, but I would take Schoolyard if I was betting. Second choice. All right. The Sam F. Davis, always a key prep for me, all the way back to Street Sense. I really like this Tampa race. It's perfect timing. I think the Tampa dirt is very similar to the Churchill dirt, in my opinion. Um, Confessional, man, he looked so good breaking his maiden, and then he ran at 3 to 5, and we were all mad. But then look who he lost to, nearly. I mean, it turned out to be a pretty good loss, right? That's like losing to a team early in the season, like the Bengals when they lost to the Patriots, and everybody was like, "Oh, what a terrible loss! How do you lose to the Patriots? They stink." The Patriots are in the damn Super Bowl. So sometimes you just don't know early in the year. So now that looks like a really good loss. So essential quality out of Tappet, American Pharoah Mare, Brad Cox, Pratt comes here to ride. Could have stayed wherever, probably had his choice of all four stakes races. He went here. I mean, this screams confessional to me. Epic Desire, not for me. The Puma, Well, I was hoping the Puma ran at Gulfstream because I was going to bet my lungs on the Puma. So if the Puma runs at Gulfstream, I'll be betting on the Puma. But if he runs here, I can't bet on him here, not in this race. Game for it, Chad Summers, man, he's turned into a wonder trainer, hasn't he? I don't know what's going on there. Good for Chad. I only met him once. Funny story, quick story. We were on the backside at the Breeders' Cup at Del Mar, me and my buddy, the banker, who's also an FBG member. And Dallas Stewart told us to come around and look at what was the name of that horse that won Forever Together, Together Forever, Unbridled Forever, something Forever Unbridled. Yeah, there it is. And so we were looking at her, and he was telling us how she's going to win the Breeders' Cup and all about the rider change and this and that. And here come this horse walking by with this dumpy looking kid, fat, just, walking around, walking around. And the kid looked at me and he goes, "You know who that horse is?" I'm like, he said, "Mind your biscuits." I'm like, okay. It was Chad Summers. So he was really nice. We talked. Good guy. So, I mean, I don't know him well, only met him the one time, but I always root for him since then. Anybody that's not getting the elite of the elite horses, don't we have to root for in America? Speaking of that, elite, Whitworth, Beckman, Oselli, still a maiden, but the numbers are getting better. Um, I don't know. I don't think he fits in this race. Renegade certainly fits, certainly could come running, and Lors Irad Ortiz. Wayne's Law, no thank you. Max Capacity, no thank you. Dr. Kapoor, no thank you. Dr. Kapoor should be sprinting. Could be an elite sprinter. I don't know what Saffy's doing there. Maybe Ken Ramsey's delusional trying to get to the Derby, which wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me. So we got speed in the race to set it up for Renegade for sure, and Oselli if he's good enough. We don't know if the Puma's running here, but if he does, he's got a chance, I guess. But I like Confessional. Again, I don't know what these odds are going to be, but if you made me take one horse, it would be Confessional. I don't think he needs the lead, but I think he's probably going to get it because Pratt sends everything. Not as much as Saez does, but he'll probably get it from that inside post or at least be sitting in that perfect stalking spot. Um, if you wanted one that you just said, I don't want anywhere near the favorite, probably Oselli because he should be a price. Renegade's obviously bred. Spice is nice. Curlin Mare into mischief. I mean, he's bred. There's no reason why he can't win. The big girl wants to go out. She's not going to get out. Too cold to open that door, girl. The R.B. Lewis. Robert B. Lewis. Okay, so now we got to go to the West Coast. Can a West Coast horse win the Derby again? How do I put this nice? Since they've been testing, since there's been scrutiny, since there's been a lot of people looking. So Baffert, Desert Gate. Okay, he hasn't run since October, but he's working up a storm. Everybody out there is raving about this horse, and Hernandez goes here. Lataric, Pratt jumped off to go to the other race. That tells me everything I need to know. I don't think he's a dirt horse. I don't think he can win. And you got to deal with Florangerie. Cherokee Nation, think he's a race filler. Intrepido. I thought Intrepido had a chance at the Breeders' Cup. The track kind of came up funny. I guess he's got a chance. I wish they would have taken this horse to Oaklawn. I think this horse would have had a big chance to go through the Oaklawn preps. I don't know why Mullins would want to keep this horse on the West Coast. I just don't. He does not have the style for the West Coast. The 5, no thanks, race filler. The 6, I love you, Dougie Fresh, but I don't think he fits. Secured Freedom. I mean, man, he did look really good breaking his maiden, didn't he? He looked really good breaking his maiden. Uh, Ran really fast too. He's a practical joke. Maybe he'll stretch out. I like Kimura. He's a long shot chance. If you didn't want to take the favorite, I don't like anybody else but the favorite or the bottom horse. So for the Derby Trail, I'm really wondering about Desert Gate because I like Brant a lot. I like Boyd a lot. So where does Desert Gate fit with the other Baffords? We'll find out, I think, in this one. Desert Gate. Can he rate? Does he have to go to the lead? Is he going to send him from the inside post? Because if you send him, he's going to get burned up with Robusta. But if you don't send him, then you give Robusta a chance to just keep going. This is going to be an interesting tactical race for JJ Hernandez. So now we get to the fourth one. And I'm trying to keep this pretty limited. You got Decode run a monster buyer number, if you believe in buyer numbers. I mean, that's almost too high to believe. I know it's a $775,000 Speightstown, Tommy Durant, Dos Vinos, bred to be any kind. They give it to an unknown trainer. You know, why are you taking Torres off? Just win by 8. I don't understand that. Butane, 83, 82. They shipped him over to, he lost to Ted Nolfi, come back into San Vicente. Ran okay. A different kind of Baffert because he doesn't have speed. Most Bafferts go right to the lead. American Pharaohs of the world, Justifies of the world, even War Emblem that he got later. They all went right to the lead. Can this horse stretch out, not make the lead, make one run? They go to Rosario to try to figure this out. Rancho Santa Fe for Brad Cox, I just don't think he's that good. Litmus test, I like, but they say they're scratching him. That was my horse, and they're scratching him. Now, where they're taking him, I don't know. But he was one of the Bafferts that I did like moving forward. Circle Tap, no thank you. Liberty National. Now, he's a little 10-1 is a little high on this horse. I think you're going to probably end up with about 4-1 after the scratch. He didn't run a step at Keeneland. Okay, first time out. It happens. They put him in a mile and 16th race. We bet on him. He went easy, 4-1. Everybody's happy. They take him down to the fairgrounds. We all bet on him again. All we heard about is how great he's doing. He ran the same damn number he ran at Churchill. He didn't improve one iota, not one jump. That almost made me mad because of how much we had heard about this horse. So maybe he takes a step forward this time. I don't know. There ain't that much in here. Strategic risk. Some people do like this horse. Me, not one of them. But he has some good numbers. They're going in the right direction. God knows he's got enough seasoning, old school seasoning. We'll find out if he's a real Derby contender if he wins this race because there's not that much in here. 9-2, he'll probably be 3-1. He's a contender. Liberty National's a contender. Butane's a contender. Decode, I don't like him, but maybe he's just some freak. I wouldn't take him at 8-5. And if he's 8-5, and he might be, because a lot of people, and we all have talked about this many, many, many times, a lot of people just go right to that buyer number. As much as we say use it as a guide, it's just one of many numbers. Don't get overwhelmed by the buyer. I'm not the kind of guy that says buyers are junk. They're terrible. No, they're not. They're just a gauge. They're a number that's a gauge, just like an opinion. Brisnet has an opinion. Rags has an opinion. Thorough's got an opinion. Everybody's got an opinion. I mean, hell, there's even touts and work report guys that have their own numbers. So, I tend to make my own numbers that are a mixture of those numbers. And mostly I use buyer and I use rag. when it comes down to it. If I'm sitting there going, well, which one, then I'm going to side with those numbers. In big stake races, I do like the rag numbers a little bit better than anything else. Maybe I'm just too cheap to pay for them on a daily basis, but on bigger days and bigger races, I do like them. They are none of these numbers are the end all be all because the biggest factor is class, and the third factor is connections. And when you get a chance to have Bob Baffert, Joel Rosario, Zendon Racing, um, to me, you got to wake up and go, okay, well, okay. So I would probably take butane here if you twisted my arm and said you only get one horse. I like the fact that he's not favored. Uh, the stretch out Rosario, I think, will save horse for later. And if this horse can go 2 turns, which he should by the breeding, then we'll see a decent run. So that's my opinion. And good luck on the Derby Trail.